We're already recording?
Yeah, because they're gonna do the
Oh,
pledge.
yeah. Almost. I don't pay attention to time. Why do that?
It's too convenient.
No, it's a waste of time.
Yeah, time is fluid. Where's my work?
Can everybody stand, please, for the pledge of allegiance? Please remove your hats. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'd like to call this meeting to order. Looking for a roll call.
Bushway?
Here.
Okay, Dirk Henderson, sorry.
Here.
Okay,
Here.
Rasmussen? Here. Rebo here, Thorne,
Here.
Cruz.
Here. I'd like to ask Mr. Randy Vedder from the County Road Commission to give his report before we begin. The County Commissioner, sorry.
Hey, it was close.
I know, I'm sorry. I'm getting
It
close.
was the opposite. Thank you. Briefly, not a lot to report since the beginning of the year. We've only met a couple of times in some committee meetings, but good news is the new procured hovercraft for water rescue, ice rescue, has arrived. And they've been out and tested it. The only thing they're waiting on right now is special lettering and lighting for it. And they're continuing to train operators for it. It'll be housed currently at Norton Township Fire Hall. They've stepped up and taken on the responsibility of maintenance and craft readiness so it can deploy anywhere in the county. But that's some of the monies generated from the marijuana tax funding, and it was approximately $62,000 of that money. So it was ordered and built to spec and replaces the previous one that had been raised, monies by the public, and it had long since outlasted its usefulness, and it was beyond repair. But that's the big news, and like you say, we're looking forward to getting a full crew throughout the county, trained to operate, so anybody can respond from any one of the first responders, utilize the craft on a water rescue, an ice rescue, or a river rescue. So, that's, yes, sir.
Where is that going to be kept at the county then, so if there's an emergency that's...
Currently, I say it's kept at Morton Township Fire Hall. They've stepped up to do training because they committed 2 people of their time to go down to Indiana to go through all the classes for operation and maintenance. So they've taken the lead on it and spent their money to do that. They're currently housing it and maintaining it, and they are teaching operations for it for other departments. So it's available throughout the county. Yeah. So, anybody else? That's pretty much it in a nutshell.
Great.
Thank you. All right.
Appreciate
Very
it.
good. See you.
Okay. This time I'd like to bring up the first round of public comment. Does anybody would like to stand up for public comment?
Hi, everyone. I think overall for the whole entire state, country, there's a lot of transparency lacking. And we have a lot of issues in the world today Greens being passed off as helpful when it's a tactic to take our freedom schools, changing bathrooms. You have locally gender identity issues for children, changing our children's teaching into an agenda. I think everyone knows what I'm talking about when it comes to the school systems and what's going on there. Okay. We need more events. I've talked about that, so I'm thinking of an Easter egg hunt coming up in the spring. I'd like to collaborate on that for the community. The sneaking in of optics of Goshen's, logging trees with no legal grounds to stand on. Chuck's paper articles of false claims that he is a part of this community when he's the face of the worst ever in this community and county. Brown zoning Michigan communities and threatening our fresh water supply does not make you a part of a community, referencing Chuck. Okay? And the population that's went to work to get a new board would, be the testament to that. The support is not there. Okay? It's threatening fresh water supply, and that's a huge concern for a lot of us. This is green optics for greed. The water factory and Hersey potash plant are already a huge threat to our environment. We have several communities and growing that are sick of government overreach. The average family has struggled to get by due to overtaxing us and underpay with little benefits by design. People signing up for having solar and wind all around us in different communities, and they don't know what they're getting into. If anyone wants to check into what that does to your community, I highly suggest very toxic to have those in your community. And the reason I bring that up is because of the law that was passed by Whitmer, where she can just push forward with this type of thing, and it's unacceptable because there's better ways to take care of your environment than those. Okay? These are things they sneak in, and it's unacceptable. Chuck is a huge problem, and because he has the Pioneer paper, shoving optics down our throat doesn't mean it's working. The truth is coming out faster and faster. Whitmer signing that we have to have no say over the windmills is a huge thing. Several NDAs under Whitmer, corrupted by the One World Order program. So in essence, what I'm saying is we want transparency. I want to know that the people in the community know the threats of mega sites and solar and wind, and there are better ways to do environmentally safe, conducive to the populations for the communities. And I want you to look up edgeofmichigan.org because they have a lot of ways that we can collaborate as a community and have a healthier environment.
Okay, thanks, Jess.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right, mine is a letter to the Pioneer, because I did send a letter to the Pioneer this week in regard to Mr. Thielen's letter in the Pioneer. And of course, they didn't post it, which we didn't expect them to do because of the bias reporting. But what I'm trying to say is that Chuck Thielen's recent soliloquy in the Pioneer newspaper regarding Goshen was another perfect example of just how tone deaf Mr. Thielen is, and the others that have attempted to push this project on a community who doesn't want it here since the very beginning. Mr. Thielen tells us a colorful tale in which he is a hero, even to the point of losing his annual bonus because of a disagreement with Goshen management. He then admonishes us to come together and love thy neighbor while he's trying to ruin our community. This kind of stuff just makes me sick. Loving your neighbor should start with being honest with them. Mr. Thielen, your picture or your pious rhetoric is quite ironic considering you've been lying to the community from very beginning. From the NDA signed by the government officials attempting to conceal details about this project from the public, to the ever shrinking wages of the alleged jobs that Goshen will bring here, to the lies about the ownership structure being an international coalition when it's really owned by a Chinese firm whose CEO is a Communist Party member, which you have denied even though it's been it's on his own bio on the World Economic Forum website. Not to mention the lack of transparency to all the dangerous materials you plan to bring into this environment. You have the audacity to claim that only a vocal minority are opposed to Goshen when every measurable metric shows otherwise. From the supermajority results of the recent recall election in Green Township to all the surveys conducted in the local townships, every single metric shows clear opposition to this project. Contrary to what you claim you want for our community, this project has done nothing but tear us apart. And it's not just here in Michigan, it's other communities as well are rejecting Goshen. Like the folks in Montero, Illinois, who are also organizing against you, which we all help organize against you. We all form together to stop this crap. Mr. Thielen, you dismiss all the concerns of Goshen links to Chinese Communist Party as complete theories and claim that the languages of the parent company articles of association pledging allegiance to the CCP and to carry out the party activities as grassroots company are boilerplate. Are you kidding me? That's communism at its greatest. We're never going to believe that. We're never going to believe that the balloon that flew over was just a weather balloon. Pardon us for not trusting the CCP, but given the history, behavior, and the harm they regularly threaten against our country. My heart truly bleeds for you that you didn't get your holiday bonus. If you'd like to earn a few extra dollars to make it up, I can always use some help on the farm shoveling shit. Because in the horse stalls, you seem to be really good at shoveling crap in this area. Thank you.
Anybody else? Yep.
I don't know where to begin with this stuff. You can say anything without facts. You can disrupt our community that you've done for the last, I don't know how many months or years. We have a board now that we're trying to get on board. We're trying to get our township back to having regular hours that we can count on to come and pay our taxes, to take care of the business of the community. And I guess my first question to the board is, when you ran for re-election, or when you ran for election to this board, did you run expecting not to win, or did you run expecting to win? And if either case, were you ever expected to come in and run this facility in the same professional manner that it was run in the past, where you could come to the township during normal business hours and take care of any business that you had with this particular establishment? So my question is this going to be fully staffed or not?
We have like our business hours right now.
Pardon?
We do have hours right now. The treasurer's office is open 9 to 4, Monday through Wednesday, 9 to noon on Thursday, 9 to 4 on Friday. The clerk's office is 10 to 4, Monday through Thursday, and 9 to noon on Friday.
And how about the supervisor?
Supervisor, I will post my hours when we get through a couple of these other things to work.
Okay, thank you.
I do now have a phone that you can reach me on, I'm gonna put that number out, so we can talk. If you guys need to reach out to me, call me on my work cell phone from here, so, and that'll get right to me and we set the time meeting.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
I would answer your question, Joel. I fully expected to win. I would have run. You asked if we expected to
Yeah,
win.
also,
I fully
you
expected.
know, if you expect to win, then you should expect to do the hours that the job requires. And I would add is that you're here for the hours that are required, and you're bringing alternate people to do your job, then that should come out of your salary, not be my burden as a taxpayer.
I'll take a couple of questions here. Yes.
And comment to you, sir, I don't know your name, sorry. If you go to other communities, ours was the only one that was open from 9 to 5. There is no reason that this board has to be here 9 to 5. If they put up their schedule, we can all learn to adapt to that type of a change. That kind of change is not going to hurt the community. However, people might end up getting hurt rump kisses. However, it's not going to give you cancer.
I don't think you have the facts to back up what you're saying. I really don't think you have facts. We're not here to discuss this between you and I.
No, we're here to discuss whatever we need to
Make sure we
discuss.
keep it close
Yeah.
on that.
Yeah.
We just stay keeping the rest of the board. Okay, thank you. I had another question here.
Yeah, there's just want to mention, I don't believe there's any state statute that requires township board members to hold hours, office hours. As a matter of fact, there is no rule, there's no state statute that says that board members can't work exclusively from home. They're not required to have any posted hours. If they do post regular hours, that's purely a courtesy to the community. And also, cannot alter their defined salaries or pay, whether they have posted hours or not.
That's actually correct, because I've been in talks with MTA about that, and that's exactly what MTA is referred to. So,
Thank you.
Jason, I have one more question.
absolutely.
I want to talk about the sewer system. You've taken money out of the sewer system to buy new computers, that fund, if I'm not correct, is that correct?
No, that's not correct.
Okay, so the money you took, it was from the grant?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And the grant also included is that the $54,000 state grant?
But there's 2 installments of that
Okay.
grant. Yeah, so
Yeah.
the amount of money was.
That money was originally dedicated to take care of our stone, the pantry down here. It's for improvements. Were you aware of that?
Actually, yes, I vetted that out quite well. It wasn't earmarked. So how it works is the funds need to be earmarked before they're not touched, okay? So the prior board, our predecessors had stored, this is via from our accountants and our legal advisors. It was stored in the sewer fund. In the event that it could be used for the sewer fund, unless the Goshen project proceeded and there was something that happened with the Goshen project. At that point in time, then it was be transferred over to the stone hatchery to be used. So I wanted to make sure that we vetted this out very carefully. That's why it took so long, Joe, and I wanted to make sure I didn't misappropriate any funds, especially since we can't get into everything. So that's kind of how we attacked it.
So can I make a further point? So if you decide to fight the Goshen project, and not take the funds that are provided, I can't think of the name of the agency through the state, for the sewer fund, then you're gonna have you're gonna have to take it from our own sewer fund, so it's gonna eliminate other possibilities.
Well, I'm not sure exactly. I haven't gotten it.
The right place is what I was looking to. The right place grant.
Yes, well, the right place grant, we're going to have a meeting with the right place here shortly.
Okay.
All right, in Randy Bailey. As far as getting involved with the grant, with everything else that's been going on, we haven't had a whole lot of time. And especially with the advent of Christmas and New Year's, and everybody kind of shuts down. Actually, most, if not almost all of the townships in the state shut down, so the attorneys, everybody goes home.
Yeah, I understand.
Whereas we stayed open as a courtesy to the public. We didn't have to do that. It was actually really hard to get anything done outside of just doing regular business.
Well, actually, the state law does require that you remain open at least one day during the.
I haven't come
The
across that.
treasurer's office.
Yeah,
and
treasurer's office.
Yeah, 95.
But the rest of us,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine, I understand.
Yeah.
So my comment about the sewer system is if you decide to leave that money that's granted through the state from the right place that's tied into the Goshen project, then it'll have a sewer fund. And what you're doing right now with the sewer fund is what you're doing with the sewer situation is you're just putting a Band-Aid on it. You know, there are requirements that, the previous board was working on to meet the requirements of this date. So all the lines down the way have basically like an external pump connection with air. And what's going to happen is if these pumps fail, the township's going to get sued for sewage in people's basements. Now, I live in a high area, so I don't know how that might be affected, but certainly anybody that has a sewer connection through the Green Township, number one is you better have a rider on your insurance policy to cover if you do have a sewer backup. if those pumps fail. Number two is that if the pumps fail, this township is gonna be sued by multiple people.
Yeah, we're not done with the sewer. We're still looking through it. We're still, so Joey will get too nervous about that. We have a lot more to go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I just want to keep it in front of us.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not pointing the finger, I'm just saying, this to me as a constituent is a great concern.
It's same here. Same here, especially with the budget coming up. We have to handle the budget. We have to look at the roads, especially I've been out looking at roads. And so it's been, there's a lot of stuff to get caught up on. So I appreciate you keeping it up.
One last comment, when you got the new computers, did you get competitive bids on those computers? And why was there a need to replace the computers in the first place?
But let's do that outside of the meeting, all right? There's a lot there, and we want to keep this meeting going. So I can give you some more information on that, but in order to sit here and fill everybody in, I don't have enough time tonight to do.
Is that something you can publish so the rest of the constituents can also see?
Oh, I will be releasing all of our actions on this.
Thank you.
Starting tonight, yep,
I appreciate it.
yep. Lori, do you have one?
I just had one comment. I just wanted to say, I really appreciate the fact, when there's talking about the old board versus the new board, whether or not you're here 9 to 5, I could care less. I would prefer transparency and honesty with the community over any type of hours that you work. That's all my comment was.
Thank you.
I'd like to add something about the hours. I've been pushing for posted hours, and if those hours are posted, they should be observed, okay? But there's no need to have any certain amount of hours. Mr. Vetter that just left, he was a township supervisor over in Grant Township. He did not maintain any office hours. And the township treasurer was on a limited basis, only as needed, same thing with the clerk. So all townships operate differently. We're gonna be as open and transparent as possible. I heard that we do have some hours now, and I can tell you this, there's been an incredible amount of stuff going on behind the scenes. There's been a lot of obstacles that we have had to try and overcome since we took office. And it's just been very, very, very difficult, almost to the point of being impossible. So we're working through it, and we hope to get better. And if you happen to come here and during the posted hours, we deserve to be ripped if we're not here, if someone's not here. I feel very strongly about that. If we're gonna post hours, if we are gonna be here, if someone makes a special trip, then we should be here, barring any emergencies. So that's all I want to say.
As a side note, for example, if someone came in and complained that the noise in the treasurer's office about a week ago. But as it turns out, Lydia had to run to the bank and make a deposit. It's the only reason she wasn't here. But typically there is someone here. Someone is always in the office, whether it's in the clerk's office or the treasurer's office.
Are the alternates bonded, or the people that are coming in and filling out, are they bonded for our township?
In the process.
Process, yep. Any other public comment?
Yeah.
Yep.
I think the hours must have changed from the last meeting then, because per the minutes from the last meeting, it says Remo stated that starting the week of December 18th, normal office hours will be from 9 to 4, Monday through Friday.
Is that from the Pioneer?
No, that's from,
Well, Lydia has to leave at noon. There
So
is
they
somebody, there is somebody always here 9 to 4, but that's why we have separate hours for the treasurer, because she has either Rob or Lydia usually has to leave by noon on Thursday, and then we are out at noon on Friday with our full deputy clerk. But the office, there is always still somebody here until 4.
so that needs to be corrected then. Who's here?
It's on our website.
It's on the website.
Okay. Another thing, I was here on the 29th, Jillian did a very good job trying to help me out. I had a problem with the address. I know she was struggling, but she tried, very good. There was a gentleman here doing construction work at the same time. myself to him. I said, what's your name? He said, Steve Lauer. I said, what you up to this morning? He said, oh, we have a lot of work to do. I said, okay, we? I said, yep, this place is a real mess. Okay. I said, so you're employed by the township? Well, by then you could tell he started to get that oh shit look in his eyes. He said, no, I'm a volunteer. And I know you're right in front of me. But, and I said, so you have your license and insured, right, with workers' comp? And he said, take it up to the supervisor. So, the people working here as volunteers, are they covered in case an accident should happen? And that's the second time I witnessed somebody cutting firewood right back here by the pavilion. If he would have cut his hand off, would that have opened the township up to a serious lawsuit? So, licensed and insured, the people cutting the wood out by the pavilion, typically Matt would have cleaned it up at no charge. Any work to be done inside the hall, done by Roger Carroll, licensed and insured. And most of the time, he donated his time. And if there was any materials he did need, he worked through those to get the military discount also. So my question is about people working here with insurance. Are they covered? And even with snowplowing, I assume you have workers' comp?
Not necessarily an employee of the township.
Okay.
And in the previous meeting, you mentioned that you were licensed and insured.
There's no need to be licensed, I am insured with a commercial snowplow company.
Okay.
And plenty for it.
I'd like to answer his questions towards me or his comments.
Steve, can you wait till after the meeting? We're gonna keep this thing going.
Okay,
I'm sorry about that, but thank you, appreciate it. Yep, okay. Any other comments? Yes, sir.
I feel a little flyer going back and forth there. I was just watching the general progress of the people that live this place and how far we've progressed to try to get back to even be 100%. Now, for these people that have been working up here for 2 months, I have observed complete stonewalling on everything and messing around with their brains. And you say that they let the group as well as the last group ran it. Well, I would hope we wouldn't run it as well as they ran it, because the transition is not even hardly past 50% right now, in my observation. As a member of this community, it is almost like a cat fight, or not, I wouldn't call it a cat fight, but it's ridiculous. One team won, one team lost, okay? And the transition should have been within 3 or 4 weeks. And now we're not even hardly past, and yet people are coming in and throwing spitballs. And I'm telling you, this group doesn't deserve it. They're putting their time in. And a lot of these things are because they couldn't get anywhere, that they had to make decisions. They're being very kind to me. And I'm proud of the effort that they're putting in. And I think we should too as a community.
Any other comments? Okay. All right, let's get this meeting moving. As we move to additions to the agenda, I have 3 additions I'd like to share with the board. But I think what we'll do is, you have an addition there.
Well, propose a motion to switch the administrative rights of the bank accounts from the clerk to the treasurer. During the transition period in early December, Corey was doing a lot of the communications with the banking institutions we deal with, because I was out with surgery, and I'm back 90%. We'd like to switch those back so the treasurer will have administrative rights to the banks.
I'll second that. Second. Jeff, second.
Yeah. Call.
Rebo, yes. Dorn,
Yes.
Bushwhack,
Yes.
Anderson,
Yes.
Hay,
Yes.
Rasmussen,
Yes.
Cruz.
Yes. Motion carries. Okay, we need to, let's get to the new parts of the agenda, then let's approve the old meeting minutes. You have to approve this consent agenda also. So anyways, I do have for the board, a couple legal documents from our attorneys. I'd like you guys to review as I pass them out here. I'm sorry for last minute. There's a letter just we got in the mail. There's a few things that the attorneys were working out. It's a letter to ISI regarding commercial lease agreements, release of FOIA, Freedom of Information Act, so the audio and video that was released, and how they view the releasing of that audio and video, and then also a notice of termination of commercial lease agreement. We have to give them 30 days in order to before we terminate, and that's by state contract. So if you can, please review that material. And as you're reviewing that, I have another letter from the attorneys regarding ISI that has gone out. There's this one here. I think there's three. The next one is a letter that went out from our attorneys to ISI regarding request for information and documentation regarding any kind of software that we use, emails, and how the emails are set up, any way that we can obtain that information. And what this does is the letter is basically states out in our contract, and the first part is in most of the letter, states on the contract that points that we're drawing attention to. And then the meat of the letter comes in the end, if you turn to like page 3 or 4, I believe. So these letters went out to ISI as we work terminating our agreements with ISI. What has been discovered is that our attorneys view it as a fraudulent lease agreement, and they would like it to be used to terminate it immediately in 30-year agreement along with 4 consecutive, or 25-year agreement, 4 consecutive 5-year re-ups, if you will. Has never been done in the state of Michigan before, is what they know of in their last 30 years of practicing. And it either needs to be terminated and restructured or terminated and gotten out. We just need to sever our contracts with them, wipe our hands with ISI as we transition over to a new IT. So those letters have dropped and those went out. So sorry for the late the late notice on those things. Please just take that home and review that. And the last order of business that I have for you is an engagement letter from another attorney firm. And here's 3 of them passing out, passing back this way. This is to aid our current attorney firm in matters of Goshen and contractual issues, or contracts, not issues, but just contracts. Don't know why I said that. And what we're doing is we're going to bring these. I need a motion to bring this attorney firm on to help our current attorney firm to review contracts regarding Goshen. So if you can, please take, I know there's a lot of stuff to look at. It took a little bit more than a little bit of time just to review that, but I'm going to be looking for a motion to bring the attorney firm on as David Schultz.
Is there a cost that you can share with us for this?
It's located in the document, but I'm just going to keep this big meeting rolling. So,
And then you post
Public comment, public comments coming up.
Sure, so you post it in there as well.
Yep, yep, absolutely.
On the website?
We haven't decided if the website's open document, I guess I could post it on the website, you know. But I would have to get a hold of our agreements from other firm also.
Jason, one more question about the ISI. You've gone to point directing, is that correct?
Oh, yeah, I've asked them, yeah,
Did you have other quotes come in for that service?
don't need to. You know, there's limited availability of internet out here in front, and so Point had their internet out here, so that was the obvious answer to the change over. So, I mean, to have somebody come and pull the line into the building, it's just, it's not feasible.
I'd like to make a motion that we hire Vicky Schultz and Burgess and Rose,
What are you doing?
our current attorneys.
Okay, I got a motion, can I get a second? Ron seconds it. Any discussion on it before we proceed? Yeah, they're located out of Lansing. They've actually worked with our attorneys before. Yeah,
Do they have experience dealing with township affairs?
they are township attorneys.
Oh, exclusively?
Yeah.
Okay, would they be the lead attorneys, or would they be assisting the other firm?
Right now, it's just assisting the other firm, possibly the lead, depending on what kind of situation the attorneys, they're gonna talk to each other and then figure out what their stances are on each one of these. So.
And can you tell us what the reason is for needing a different attorney to assist the other?
We are so bogged down with all sorts of things that are happening here in our township right now, dealing with all these little caveats, FOIAs, those types of things. That our current attorney firm is pretty tied up with just everything that bears along with trying to manage other townships. And so to make sure that we answer everything that, answer all the affairs that we have on our plate, we'd like to bring them on, give them some help, to make sure that we can do this in a timely fashion. Okay?
I don't know if it's appropriate to mention or not, but I don't have a lot of confidence in the former firm. The previous regime asked questions, and attorneys seemed like, a deer in the headlights. And not only that, but at the last meeting, I think he screwed up on the posted time and place. That's stuff that you don't expect to have happen when you're dealing with a law firm. I'm not saying that I'm totally unconfident with them, but there's just been a couple of little red flags that make me a little bit concerned. That's why I asked if these folks are going to be the lead or if they're going to be assisting the other firm.
Right. That needs to be worked out yet. Who's going to be doing it, and right now, because we have a couple of engagement letters with ISI, they're going to be leading up ISI stuff, and obviously we have to address some of these other contractual stuff with Goshen. So they are going to work with that in that avenue.
Jason, with the information that I sent you, was you planning on talking about that?
No, we have so much stuff to do here right now.
Okay, just that.
It's not on the agenda, so, yeah, go ahead.
So one of the, because I don't, when you talk about ISI, there's like lots of moving parts. We have towers, right?
Yep.
Okay, so is that, one of these is for towers, correct? And then ISI was our internet provider. Is that what one of these are? And then is that them, I don't know how to explain it. ISI was our provider, but they also have stuff in the basement. is that what some of, like, this, it looks like, I mean, I can see that it says maybe tower, yeah, it says tower.
Yeah.
So one of them's tower, but then is this just for the internet services that they used to provide us? Or is this as in the stuff in the basement?
So there's two there's two letters, there's a lot of stuff here.
Okay.
And the reason why there's a lot of stuff is because, like I promised, when we had elected this morning, we would look at these contracts. As we are going through these contracts in several different areas, not to knock what was done by the prior board by any means, it was just a matter of, hey, this kind of showed up. It was there's a couple flags there. So we had the attorneys vet the contracts out. There's our lease agreement. ISI has a lease agreement with us in the basement. And then they have a power management agreement, which is that they manage the towers out in our township for us. All right? And on the other side of things, they provide IT services. So one letter, the first letter I sent out, passed out to you, has a lot to do with, one, it mentions the commercial lease agreement, right? And it mentions the termination of the commercial lease agreement. What our attorneys would like us to do is sever eventually after at least 30 days, as a 30-day notice, sever any kind of workings with ISI at this point in time. There's a lot more to this. It's been a lot of information that's been handed over. There's a lot of things that have happened as we went through, and I got to be careful what I say here. But
As we say, is there any attorney-client information that she's saying at this time?
right, and that's kind of where I'm at. There's just certain things that I can state that came out of the letter. So since the letter's dropped, I can post the letter, people read it, or both of them.
I guess my question is, will this affect people who
Absolutely,
are using that internet?
absolutely. Unfortunately,
Is there, to be fair,
Yeah.
maybe I don't want to say the word fair, but to be, I guess, fair.
Mm-hmm.
And are we willing to work with them?
The customers?
No, we're for that too. Are we willing to work with ISI? Let's say they can't get out in 30 days. Are we willing to say,
yes.
it might be 45 days, so that we don't, I'm just afraid we're gonna lose a lot of people who use that internet.
So this is gonna happen in a couple different stages. I'm not, this isn't perfect. But what a lot of people that I've talked to, not township residents, legal advice, state advice, they want something. And there's reasons why we really need to make this happen. We could probably talk to attorneys, and they best explain it to you at this point in time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So I
I'm
mean,
just thinking of finding, like, if you're releasing them and they only have 30 days, what,
Well,
how long
right.
does it have for people to find something,
Yeah. This isn't what I wanted. This isn't what I wanted, but it looks like we're forced to, because the other thing the board's gonna have to deal with is the towers, right? There's a lot of things that happen, in this situation, but we have to move forward at this point in time. And we basically, the situation here at Green Charter Township, in the agreement that we have right now with ISI, is not optimal to the township. So as stewards of the township, we need to protect the township and taxpayer money. And I'm not saying there's anything snaky, shady about it. It's just that the way it's set up. And like I said, once again, it's about as far as I can dive into it. And then you'll have to, I asked the attorneys if we could give everybody, if we could talk, and give them a call. So they can best explain it, on their terms, so they can explain the letter and so you guys can.
I was gonna say, there's a lot of legal.
There's a lot of MCLs in here, and there's a lot of stuff that's happening. There's also the releasing of audio video. Whether or not I was, I'm a supervisor and say I can release the audio video, it doesn't matter. Because any documentation, from what I understand, any documentation that's held either in the hall or out of the hall has to go through the FOIA, through the FOIA person, which is FOIA, right?
FOIA coordinator.
Yeah, FOIA coordinator, thank you. And so the FOIA coordinator never had a chance to look that over. And the reason for it, there's several different cases that this has happened in the state, several different precedents and situations that our attorneys have been involved with. And said, look, one instance that we had is that it didn't, the video was released, because we're not even supposed to be recording audio. The state doesn't want to see even audio recorded. Video okay, on a limited basis. When they say audio, no. So anyways, when this other township released this video, and it wasn't properly vetted, there was a camera pointed on their treasurer's department. Then the person goes ahead and they throw out their credit card and their driver's license on the table. And they released it. And then all of a sudden, it wasn't vetted, didn't go through the coordinator. And then you could zoom right in and you could see all their information. So it is not legal for ISI to release that information, regardless of the fact. They can be stewards of the information, right? But it has to come back to the township no matter what. No matter what. And it has to go through the coordinator. So please hold your comments till comment. Yep, hold your comments till comment, please. So that's what's happening with this. Yes, sir.
Does the township need to make some sort of a public statement that there may be an interruption of service? We don't know who the customers are. Or is it ISI's responsibility for them to tell their customers, hey, look, there might be something happening in the background that would require you to find another provider?
So the second document I sent out to you, the second letter, request for documentation, also asks in there for some of this data. We have no information at all regarding how many people ISI services on our towers. We don't know how, if there's anybody else on our towers. We don't have any of that information. We just don't have any information on it. We've got internet, and we know some people are getting supplied by it, but there's things here that could be potential breaches, right? So if there was a breach of information regarding our township documents, the question comes up, and this is just out there, just throwing it out there. Are there other breaches happening to customers that we don't know about? Is it secure or not? And that's what the attorneys were wondering also. So I mean, there's clearly are breaches here. Depending on what the severity of the breaches are, I don't know yet. Time will tell. But that's what the other document's asking also. So yeah, I mean, as far as the 30 days, like there's a clause there for 30 days. The attorneys would like us to see a breaking contract immediately. We can't do that, all right? Because there's obvious. I don't want to drop people's internet. Didn't ever want to do that. But there's a lot of other things. Like if you call up, there's a lot of stuff they can fill you in on. I just can't. We can't talk about it.
So are we gonna meet with them then?
We can request another meeting if we want to. I asked if the board members can call.
Okay.
Just call and get an update on it if they want to. Normally there'd be me and then I call them and they bring them in, because there has to be one point of contact, or there should be one or 2 points of contact between, the attorney and the legal. So that's where we're at with that, with those topics. But I mean, at this point in time, we're in a waiting period at this point in time because the letters have just dropped. We need to see how ISI responds, all right? See what kind of information they give us, and then we can go from there. So this is just brand new fresh.
So now, who'd you say is the internet person for us here?
Oh, Benny,
No, the
oh,
internet
Point.
provider, Point
Yeah.
Broadband, okay.
We haven't switched over yet because we are waiting to make sure that we get all the information.
And is that who's gonna do the camera then as well? Do we have cameras, do we,
We have one camera, we do not have cameras.
okay.
No. We don't have to install cameras until election time. Election time is coming up pretty
I was
soon.
gonna say, yeah,
Yeah.
election,
So we have to do one camera, the ballot box, that's it. That will give us 5 right now. And then
and that's not on here?
Hmm?
That's not on our agenda, have we discussed where that ballot box is going? Because I think we haven't, what is it, the
yes,
18th of January?
yeah, it was a post box, right? And then we're just on a box on a post outside, so it could be handicapped.
So you already ordered it and everything?
We had to because of the
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
layover
yeah, yeah.
time, you know,
Okay.
I just didn't have a whole lot of time to.
I didn't see it on here, so I just wondered where we were at with it.
Yeah.
Waiting for it to get
Waiting for it to get, we have to make some calls. And it seems that there's a lot of follow-up phone calls we have to do here. I had a phone run out of my ear for the last couple months. But there's a lot of follow-up, especially like I said, with the holiday season's been kind of difficult. Yes.
Just a question, I noticed there's 2 different addresses for ISI. One document goes to Countryway Apartments, and the other one goes to an address on 18.
So apparently ISI has been working with, we have one billing address, one, I believe Corey would send her invoice,
checks.
The checks.
The apartment address.
our apartment address. All right, and then the second one is the auction house,
The auction house isn't on 18.
isn't it? Something, it's something like that.
Anyway, I guess that's
I
not my,
can't figure it out.
I'm just noticing there's 2
We
different.
just noticed it today, and then they had to readjust the letter and send it out again, so. We sent it to one address, don't know if it's gonna make the ISI, so the attorneys readjusted it.
Okay.
Yep,
All right.
yep.
One way or the other, they should get something.
Should, yes. I asked them to send an email, but I don't know if they did that or not, I haven't followed up with them.
So, we were discussing,
Now let's get back to that. You're right.
if you want to bring up, so this would be our third,
Yes, yeah, to have on, till we can talk to, right? But we haven't been using the other one, we haven't been using,
the one from Saginaw.
no, haven't been using it at all. He's had a nasty case of COVID, and he hasn't really recovered yet. So we've just been working solely with our attorney, yeah, with our township attorneys, so.
So is there more discussion?
Would you like some more, yeah, probably should we vote on it, or would you like to ask questions, or since we're in discussion mode?
I think basically this one is just for Goshen.
That's right.
Our one.
To help, yeah,
Yep,
to help the other.
and they've worked before. You know, really, we're very fortunate because the attorneys, and I know it looks really bad on some of these things that have happened in the past, so our state attorney, but state attorneys are rated in one of the top, 2 top firms. This would be the second top firm in the state. So municipality firms. But the, yeah, I mean, the firm that represents us currently also represents MTA. All right, so they're, MTA thinks highly of them, and we're lucky to have them here. From what I've said, they lawyer reviews. So that's good. This other firm has many different clients, but it just they're the second. They're like both on the same level. So you either go to this firm or the other firm, and they've worked together before on some of these issues. And some of these policies, some different policies. That's why they're comfortable bringing them on, working with them. There's a lot of discussion about it.
We have motion on both of these, or do you have?
We just have to have a motion on the bringing the Fahey Schultz. And we got the motions, but we got to go for a roll. We got to go roll call. Yeah, we're just having. Yeah, we got a little sidetracked again on the ISS. Okay. Can I get a vote? Let's do a roll call, all right, please.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Bushway.
Yes.
Henderson.
Yes.
Hay.
Yes.
Rasmussen.
Yes.
Rebo, yes. Thorne.
Yes.
Cruz.
Yes. Thank you, Ward. Motion carried. Okay. Covered a lot of ground. We got it. Okay. You want to go to consent agenda? December 12th, 2023 on consent agenda. There's been no correspondence, so there's really nothing to report there. Let's jump to the consent agenda. December 12th, 2023, December 15th, 2023, special meeting minutes. Item A. I ask the board this time to review item A.
Do we have the 15th? We can't approve the 15th then until we see the minutes.
We have to approve the 2020, the 12th. Yeah, we have to approve the 12th. Okay.
I'd like to move to accept the minutes from December 12th meeting.
Second.
So I have a first from Jeff, a second from Rob.
For the 12th.
For the 12th. Yeah, it's for the 12th.
Thorne.
Yes.
Henderson.
Yes.
Bushway.
Yes.
Hay.
Yes.
Rasmussen.
Yes.
Rebo, yes. Cruz.
Yes. Okay, motion passes. Meeting minutes for December 12th, 2023 are approved on A. All right, I'd like to bring everybody, the board's attention to December treasurer report, item B.
As far as the funds go, we are in fine shape right now. As of January 1st, we have $1.1 million total in our accounts. And if anyone doesn't have that, there's a copy at the door. All of our bank accounts and accounts as of January 1st.
Okay. Thank you, Rob. Any questions, any comment on any of that? As far as the treasurer report?
I was here one day when we learned that we had an account at Lake Osceola State Bank. I thought it was funny, but it wasn't funny.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's 20, not 20 minutes.
Surprise. So we have, I think we have a pretty large account now as far as
Yeah.
accounts.
Minor loose ends as far as access is there.
Okay. Okay, we have another.
Can I just for information and, about what we're at with this so far, do we have a handle on what kind of, on average, annual revenue does the township bring in between taxes and fees and things like that? I'm just curious, have you had a chance to really look at that? Okay, that's fair enough.
Is he tackling over the accounts?
Right, okay, no, that's fair enough. I'm just.
We're just, believe it or not, we're just getting access issues wrapped up. So we've got the one, we'll be switching to administrative access, and we've also got Lake Osceola Bank. We're going to be adding, motion to add 2 more people and get online access to Lake Osceola Bank, and then we'll have full, complete access to all accounts.
Okay. Curious.
Just a question on my part. subject to, loss if a bank fails and we have more than $250,000 in that bank? Is that about an insurance corporation?
I think we better check on that, make sure that we have the proper insurance.
99% sure it's not gonna happen, but, you know, it happened in California last year. It's happened in other banks. Some of them get bailed out, some of them don't.
All right, we'll check into that.
I'm not trying to make extra problem if it works or anything. It's just something that maybe we should look at eventually, you know.
Now we better, yep.
I've got a pay visit to a couple of banks the next couple of days, so I can ask them both.
It's kind of usual, yeah.
Does anybody know what the money market rate is if they cost you a bank?
As soon as we get this motion taken care of, I'll be paying another visit, so I can check into that.
I checked on a one-year CD just last week, and it was like 5%.
Was it?
Yeah, isn't that kind of sad? Remember when you were a kid, you get a Christmas phone for 5%.
So I don't know how that relates to your
It's depressing. Yeah.
Okay. Any other comments on the treasurer's report from the board? Okay, let's have a look at the sewer department report. I received, yeah, monthly lift station report. Here, right here. Two by three. Oh, you took it back. Okay. Dates from 11/28 to 1/2, so 35 days in total. Reading is 267, 892, 200. Total flow is 1,308,370. Daily flow is 37,000 roughly, and then kilowatts is 352. Kilowatt year to date is 3,862. There was a note made by Troy, air ventilation. He has some on 12/31/23 air ventilation. And that
There was a switch that was fried.
there's a switch that's
So
fried.
he ordered it, should be here in a week or so. Yeah, he wasn't able to, he had to borrow an air tester from the city because of
And so another thing I'd like, since we're talking about the sewer lift station report, Troy, the lock on top of the lift station, especially with the weather changing, water getting into some of these locks, that sort of thing. I'd like to get the lock changed on that, on the top. And we also, it jams up already, just working normal, it's jammed up, so it's a little bit easier to replace. Just in case we don't break a key off inside of the lock, get that lock replaced for them so it works properly. And the other thing that we need to address in that lift station is there's a sump in there that hasn't worked for a while, and we need to replace that sump. There's a down the hole just in case we get a little bit of water, keep that thing pumped out. As we operate it, we are still operating that lift station. Whether or not we, obviously we are, we're going to do some improvements, updates, possibly replacement. We owe it to the people that pay the utility to have that thing working as best as it can right now. So I really need to get a new.
So there's a sump pump?
There's a sump pump. It's not pumping. And so we really need to replace that. 300. I mean, how much could it be? I'd have to run.
It depends. So I'm just telling you from experience, if you get the stainless steel one, it's got a lifetime warranty on it, so that you can just take it back if it would ever go out.
Yeah.
We run two in our basement to keep water out all the time, so.
Sure. And it depends on how much it has to pump too. I'm not sure what the rating is.
It may have to be explosion proof as well.
Absolutely.
But I mean, who's gonna change it? Have we got a contractor lined up to do that?
So,
And as for the lock, is it a high security lock or is it just something that's cheap to replace?
it's just a cheap little lock.
Okay, because if it's a good lock, you can put, dry it out, put some dry slides and graphite in there, and that works wonders.
Sure.
Cold weather problems.
Well, we can take a look at that too, Kelly.
I mean, if it's just a cheap lock, it's not worth messing with.
Right.
put another one on.
Just a little security on it. But those are some of the things that I think we need to address with that right away. Make sure it's safe, make sure it's dry, so that we can do the stuff, and keep us humming along for right now. So,
Who has keys to that? Him and somebody here in the township?
we were using Ernie over at State Street.
But that's what, like, who has keys to that line?
Oh,
Him
just
and
Troy.
somebody here?
Yeah, we
Okay.
had one here, so.
Okay.
As for the switch, is that electrical work?
I believe it would be.
Probably should have a contractor do that.
So I can look for that.
Well, I
It could be
mean,
just an air, it could be an air switch.
yeah, I don't know what kind of a switch is involved, but, you know, if you've got, an electric switch replaced, and one of our employees does that, he's subject to a jolt of electricity or worse.
Sure.
Troy may be able to do it too.
I could do it, I'm sure, but I mean, legally and liability wise, do we want to try and do that ourselves? I don't know.
Right. Well, I'll check with the attorneys, make sure everything's all set. And then go from there. And then switch.
Or ask Troy what kind of
Yeah.
switch it is, and then, you know, something he can tackle it on.
I was hoping to get a hold of them, talk to them before the meetings. I got caught up with a phone call, so I was able to ask about some of the stuff, but I can talk to them here this week, find out what you guys know. Okay.
It's Troy, I mean, it's our third meeting and we're doing this, I don't know Troy, and, you know, he's been here a while, does he ever attend these meetings? Let's give it a pass, I haven't seen him yet, I mean, I'm not trying to throw him under the bus, I'm just saying, if he's here, he's got a report, it'd be nice to ask him, you know, some more specifics, but I just didn't know if that's something that we usually, we're just gonna get a statement report, or if he is.
Right now, he's just submitting a statement report. I can ask him, so we can just have an update.
In years past, he was always present to answer any questions.
Okay.
Maybe when things started getting ugly, he decided he didn't want to be part of it, I don't know.
Well, so I'll contact him and drill down on that. How about a legislative report? That was Randy, he's done, yep. Old business, road commission item D. So, let's see here. Yeah. Just to bring it up, to keep it on the table, roads. I had an opportunity to get out a little bit, not much. I ended up in COVID for the last 2 weeks. So it's been kind of tough going and kind of pick myself up again. It's quite pretty hard. But I did have a chance to start getting out, driving the roads, checking them out, especially the roads that are of major concern. And it just seems like there's some of the ways that we're managing the roads, maybe we can step it up a little bit of a little notch. In the last packet, that was a road commission report, given the detailed list of their inspection of the road and what their suggestion was in order to handle that road and the improvements on that road, or those roads. And there was also a traffic report on that, some usage on that road. Obviously, we want to consider the roads for the upcoming budget planning meeting and make sure that we can handle as best we can some of those road improvements that are coming up. I've had an opportunity, like I said, to get out and travel some of those roads. There's a lot of washout. There's a lot of washout concerns. There's been a lot of, how is that road being loaded? Let's say if we have a dirt road, who's traveling that road? We may have light traffic on the road, but my concern is what type of traffic? Is it heavy traffic? Is it someone that's going to blow the road out? Is there something we can do to better surface those areas? And I don't know, has the board had a chance with all the holiday stuff, you get out and really scope, check the roads out at all? Or?
No?
I'm out on the
You've
roads a
been laid
lot,
out.
there's a lot of them that are in bad shape.
But, I'm sorry, what's that?
I'm out on the roads a lot, there's a lot of them that are in terrible shape. It's hard to make a decision. You can either trust what the county says and take their recommendation. I think it might behoove us to actually talk to a couple of snowplow drivers. You know, there can only be a few snowplow drivers in Green Township that are assigned certain routes. They might have some good ideas. Well, you know, the number one road, in my opinion, is this. That's one of the things I was thinking about doing.
And I was looking at, and we were just, right before the meeting, Sarah and I were talking about the different aggregates that we can put on some of these roads too. You know, what's gonna hold up, what would be acceptable, you know, and where do we put, you know, where do we really give our attention to?
I would encourage anybody out there, if you have a pet peeve on your road, please bring it to the township so we can take it to the road commission. And it's almost like triage as far as getting road work done around here, because there's X amount of money, and the county has some, we have less within the township. So, you know,
Is there state matching money that you guys can draw on?
I wish it was, and they really are great for money also, they can chip in.
I have, before I sat up here, when I was out there, you know, my pet peeve was 190th north of Hoover. And it's only about a half mile, and there's about 30 to 40 people that live off that. And, you know, I said, hey, you know, it's a very, they said, well, you know, it needs to be repaired. I said, well, gee, it's a county road, whose job is that? Well, because it needs to be repaired, the township needs to do that. Well,
Yeah, no, I'm sorry.
what comes first, the chicken or the egg? You know,
I'd take it one step farther. Dan's got a great idea. Bring your concerns to our attention, but also go to the county road commission. I've had great luck going to the county road commission, the open record technique. If this bridge out here on 220 is finally getting fixed. And I've talked about that for years. I attended meetings this summer. I mean, some people won't be happy about that, that live on the dead end road right by the bridge, but it's a major inconvenience. I've heard from a lot of people, they want that bridge fixed. And so it's getting fixed. They won't give me any details. MDOT's taking the project over. There's another bridge that's very dangerous over here on 21 Mile Road. It's a narrow bridge, it's undulating, it's awful. And, you know, how many decades are we gonna have to put up with that?
190, it really looks like it's a pretty well-traveled road, you know, and it seems like, we went out and checked it out. I don't know, just the other day, that was last week, probably. And it's just gets pummeled, you know, and there's washouts and everything else there, it's like,
well, a lot of these roads were designed when we had smaller cars, and vehicles are traveling probably a little bit faster than they were 10, 15 years ago. Vehicles are a little bit larger than they were, especially if you got 250s and 350s traveling down the road, and maybe even a few dualies here and there. So I figure out the roads are putting up with heavier loads. So, what does the county and the state need to design the roads to?
Well, like I was asking Jason, if we're gonna spend X, Y, Z to put gravel down for them to push it out to the edge, what's the cost of chip sealing it?
yeah, and that's, I'm gonna follow up with the road commissioner on that this week, say, hey, what are we gonna charge for chip sealing? Something that matters, just to stabilize some of the stuff, because the dust and trying to, you know, maintain it. You gotta run a grader. Now, some of those roads out there are just like this, right? You know, and I don't know how you maintain that unless you cut it down, like Sarah and I were talking earlier. If you cut the hills down, make it flat, and you don't have this throttle up and throttle down on it, so you're getting the road out, right? So, I mean, some of that will have to be taken into consideration, but there's got to be a way to stabilize, put a different aggregate on that road at least, so it's better.
You could move my back to the It used to be tape back in the day.
No, it's kind of a shame, we're sitting here talking so much about roads, when our illustrious governor ran primarily on the campaign to fix the damn roads. And it seemed like there would be a lot of state money.
There's been a lot of road fixes, so
Or some build
if
back.
you travel around.
Excuse me, sir, if we would get some build back better money from the federal and trickle down, into, here in the rural, we have paved roads, blacktop, and then dirt roads. I would submit, it's gone a long way, I live on a dirt road, and I don't want it paved, because I've seen what happened at 230th, once it was paved, people driving 90 miles an hour, and finding a side cut from 131, and fly down there. So I called road commissioners a couple times and complimented them when they've graded my road and done a good job, and they were like, oh, you're not calling to yell at us? It's like, I think that you go a long way when that gets back to, I don't know who the driver is, but, if you would just let them know. So we hope to probably be looking at our township, what percentage of our dirt roads that need graded and grind versus blacktop that need repaired or resurfaced. I don't know, long run, if it's better to blacktop roads, is it cheaper than to maintain them? I know there's people, myself included, and others who would prefer not to have blacktop because of the speed issues. So.
Okay. All right, I'll ask you that. That's a very good point. And that's what I'm concerned about too. It's like, okay, there's got to be some money out there someplace. I would hope. I just don't know where those avenues are yet. So I'm going to drill down on that also.
You could check with Nestle.
We're low on the corner pole, I know. I was surprised. Give me money.
You could check with Nestle, because their trucks are coming down 23 mile. They have only a certain number of trucks traveling, and they pay for it on the highway. But they're using both that river road and they're using 23 mile from the potash plant.
Okay.
Because if they were to be caught doing that, maybe they'd build us one, all the way through our township.
All right, so we'll continue the discussion on the roads. I just wanted to kind of get it out there for everybody so we don't lose sight of that. And if you, once again, if we can get the public out there, make sure that they can give us their concerns on the roads, that would be super helpful. That would be very helpful.
I might suggest that you and possibly myself attend the next road commission meeting.
Yeah.
And ask them for their input. They may have some projects that they'd like to have us, help pay for. And I've always been of the thought that more money should be spent on a road to do things right than just to patch it.
Yeah, exactly.
That may not be a very popular opinion, but when I was on the board 5 years ago, we spent $89,000 on 220 north of 22 Mile Road. That road is in horrendous shape. It's not much of a road anymore, it's a major thoroughfare. I can go on and on about all the bad roads, and the county will tell you they don't have any money.
Yep.
So.
That was a meeting today. We don't have any money, so, but it's definitely passed on.
I mean, we can spread it around and try and make lots of people happy and do things,
If we get on the maintenance, regular maintenance schedule, we'll take this one down this year, this one down this year.
So far behind, we'll never get caught.
I'm telling you, it is. It's pretty bad.
Jason, this contract, does this need, it doesn't need voted on, or whatever. I know it's $140 per mile for the brine application. Is that an increase from before, or is it the same? And how many miles? This is per mile. We have 3 applications. There'll be 3 different times where they
right.
brine for dust control.
We don't have any choice in the matter. They set the prices, we take it or leave it.
Oh, okay.
Right, we don't have any choice.
So I think in the past, they paid for one, am I correct? That they would, the county would pay, but they're not.
Not this year.
Not this year, it's all done. Their budget's pretty minuscule.
All we need to vote on is whether we're gonna go once, twice, or 3 times.
That's right. That's
Do we
right.
know how many miles?
I had it written down on the
I
last.
think there's 32 miles of gravel road, isn't there?
32, yeah, it's 32, 36, something like that, of miles. So I don't know, we can hold it off just a little bit longer, and I can get some more information. Yeah, we've got some time, so let's get some more information from the road commission, and we'll go from there, and then we can always do a next meeting.
Sarah, do you remember what we did last year? Was it 2 applications? Oh, you weren't there.
Two last year, when I went to the meeting, the committee paid for one, and then we did the 2.
So there was 3 total?
Yes, there was 3 total.
Can I ask you to stand up really quick? I would like to ask you about the brining, because on 190. You kind of enlighten the board. How'd the brining go for you?
They come through, they drench the road, it turns into a slippery mess for about a week. It packs into your vehicle, your tail lights, rots your vehicle out. I don't like it, but you can't deal with the dust either. So,
Is the new material gonna change any of that? Because there's a new material that comes into play this year.
It's not terrible.
Jason, what do you think of the material that they put out there?
It's just might as well be beach sand as far as I'm concerned.
Isn't there a change in the material now?
You know, and I want to verify that with you, because, I'm looking at the material, some of the roads that I ride on, it's a lot of just sand.
Yeah.
And as far as gravel, well, I don't think there's too much
No,
gravel.
we're thinking about the brining material, is that changed? I thought
Yes.
It was supposed to,
Yeah.
last time I was,
Yeah, changed.
from the state.
Change in that there wouldn't be toxic.
Yes.
Yeah,
There'll be some other chemical composition in there.
and Eagle still limits it to 3 miles, I'd say.
It's almost like beet juice instead of like an actual salt
And
brine.
that's probably why you're getting so greasy out there. I mean,
If it rains, it gets greasy, 2 inches deep. I mean, it just sprays past the window when you're driving down the road after it rains.
Oh, Lord. That's a waste of money.
You know,
What road?
190, south of Hoover Road.
it holds the roads, it makes them last longer. It helps them last longer. Sure, if you don't put it out there, they crumble and they spread out and they
pound up.
But like you say, a salt or like a sandy road is way different than like 20 Mile where it's clay. You know what I'm saying? So like the clay with the beet juice is gonna be different than maybe the sandy road, but
Yeah.
grind down.
Right. So I'm just wondering, I'd like to get some more information about that, and see what they said, and get some more say.
you almost have to go to fair or something.
Oh, go out to the road. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Over on the other side of the river for the road. That's called. Yeah. They'd be able to.
Can we move on?
We can move on. Let's move on for right now. Let me know what I have anything to vote on, so. Okay, budget workshop. We have to schedule a meeting for a budget workshop. Once again, with the holidays, we just didn't get to it. We also are trying to make sure that we're looking at different ways of approaching the budget workshop. And through our conversations earlier, it was how are we going to approach the budget workshop? Well, let's take the old budget and we'll start there and we'll see what was done beforehand, and then and we will make sure that those numbers are correct. I was kind of hoping that I would get a hold of our attorneys, or not attorneys, but accountants. But our accountant is out for this week. She'll be back next week. So I kind of just let this point stay mute until I can, get in contact with her, along with a few other people. And so now I'd like to kind of engage that next week if possible. I feel that early next week I can get in touch with our accountants. They can give us a hand with that, and then move forward. Any input on that process?
How long for like the year, if you talk talk to the accountant for year-to-date to go in there, so we would know where we were at technically year-to-date.
So, that's tricky right now because of where our books are still at. We're getting better with them. But it is taking a little bit to get to that point. And I really want to make sure I talk to the accountant about that, just because of where we're at, you know, with everything. So we have a good, honest idea of what's going to happen with that budget, and we can move the money around where we need to. Also, it's the structure of the budget. Also, we had talked about making it more of a working type of a budget. We wouldn't have to do a bunch of amendments, so we would have just a standard. We built a budget. Hey, we have our general account. We have our general cemetery account. Those types of things, and we would run our internal numbers, all the rest of the numbers for, let's just say, any kind of something that had happened, lawn cutting out at the cemetery or burial at the cemetery. We could just use a general cemetery budget, but assign that money to an internal PO or
Have we talked to MTA about how to run the budget or anything?
Absolutely. They said there's a lot of townships that do it that way. So they said, absolutely, if you didn't want to get involved in a lot of budget amendments, that's how we have to set it. So that would help out.
Has anybody got a good date?
I was thinking later on next week, possibly.
Depending if you hold of the accountant?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So I know we have those calls in, so I'm waiting there. But I would say tentatively, what do you guys think? I mean, I'm pretty flexible right now, so next week.
Yeah, I guess.
That's not what your
Friday next week.
position says. Yeah.
I say Thursday. What, you say a day or a time?
A day and a time, we gotta get it done.
Thursday?
Next Thursday.
Thursday? You want to?
Wednesday.
As long as you have.
I think 18.
Okay. Wednesday, maybe out.
Up until Wednesday. Oh, after.
What works better for you?
Next week is pretty open, the week after that is impossible.
What about Monday? Martin Luther King Day.
I got to talk to the accountant. I know.
Yeah.
I think we just need a quorum, but I'll verify that tomorrow.
We should all be here, but we can't make everybody's schedule work.
Right.
And we don't want any slackers, we all gotta be part of it.
What about the 22nd? What about the 22nd? That would be a week. You know what I'm saying? That'd be the Monday. He would be back.
22nd?
And then that gives you time to talk to the accountant.
I'm gonna say this coming week is gonna be better for me than the following.
Yeah.
I have stuff going every single day.
Hey Dan, when are you gone again? You're gone on Wednesday? You said?
No, we're gonna be on Thursday. The 17th, so the 17th through the 21st.
Oh, geez, okay, well, Sarah, can we do Thursday, or Tuesday, I'm sorry.
And I have a doctor's appointment.
Okay.
No. Yes.
Okay. All right, Thursday, 1 o'clock, there we go. Hey, we got it. All right. We have to do some difficult. So we have Thursday, the 18th at 1 o'clock. That'll give us time to post it, get our stuff together, be talking to the accountants. Thursday, 1 o'clock. Okay.
With the printer, or you print it for us?
See if we can do this. Okay, let's move on to new, let's keep it going. Let's move to new business. We have to cancel the Clover credit card system and switch to appointment pay. Would you like to, anybody would like to elaborate?
Sure. The system that's being used now, it's called Clover, and it's not very cost effective. In fact, it's very expensive. What we're paying right now is per transaction. whomever, when the resident comes in and pays their taxes or whatever, they pay 3.5% charge for whatever they're paying, 3.5%, plus 10 cent per transaction by phone. If they come in, it's 2.6% transaction fee plus 10%, or 10 cents, I'm sorry. And the township, we have to pay $14.95 per month and $99.95 per year for the, to be crazy back over. So that adds up. It costs the residents more money, it costs the township more money, which obviously costs the residents more money. What the system we'd like to switch to is called Point and Pay, which is widely used by other townships. It's talking with Penny Curry, and she's talked to Point and Pay. She's got them to waive any setup fees, so we have no setup fees. There's no monthly charges, no annual charges. There's a flat 3% transaction fee that we don't have to deal with. With Clover, we have to do the math and add 3.5% to 2.6%. So there's always room for error there, but Point and Pay adds 3% automatically. And Point and Pay is also can be integrated into the BSNA system. So when we get the BSNA updated here, we're particularly on board with utilities and everything with BSNA, Point and Pay can be integrated right into this. So it's going to make it much, much easier and less expensive.
That's great.
I'd like to make a motion that we cancel Clover credit card system and move over to Point and Pay.
Looking for a second.
Second.
We have Rob a second. Any other discussion on it?
And you said this is through Penny Curry?
No, the company's called Point and Pay. No, Penny Curry's been, as many people know, Penny Curry's been coming in helping us out quite a bit, training us on the treasurer's office. And so we've got quite a bit of information from her. She's been doing this for years. So very thankful for Penny. But no, she's the one who told us about Point and Pay. It's what Big Rapids Township uses. So we gathered more information and found it's considerably more cost effective.
And they can come in and pay anything with this Point and Pay?
Yeah.
Okay.
And again, once we switch everything over to BSNA, we update BSNA and switch everything over, it can be fully integrated with BSNA.
Okay.
Sounds like an excellent move.
Yeah.
Thanks for that. Sure. Research.
Can I get a vote? Get some roll here?
Wade,
Yes.
Anderson,
Yes.
Hay,
Yes.
Rasmussen,
Yes.
Rebo, yes, Thorne,
Yes.
Cruz.
Yes. Motion carries. Okay, authorize signers for Lake Osceola Bank.
Oh, yeah. This is what we talked about a little bit earlier. Yeah, that was our surprise. Hey, we have another account. So we've got access to the accounts, we've got everything, we've got Cory and I. We need a motion, the bank says we need a motion to add deputies, which would be Jill and Lydia, onto those accounts. And we also need another motion for all four of us to have online access. So apparently we have to have a separate motion to get online access to the accounts.
Okay. So the first motion would be.
I just want to add those two, fellow that you mentioned.
Yeah. This is Lydia and Jill. Yeah. The deputies.
So we have Jeff on the first motion. Our first motion, can you get another?
I'll second it.
Second? Okay. Any other discussion? Let's go for a vote.
Thorne,
Yes.
Hay,
Yes.
Bushway,
Yes.
Henderson,
Yes.
Rasmussen,
Yes.
Rebo, yes, Cruz.
Yes. Okay, we need another motion to,
Yes. But we need online access for all four of us, which would be Cory, myself, Jill, and Lydia. So we can access Lake Osceola State Bank.
so clerk, treasurer,
And deputies.
and both deputies. Okay, can we get a motion for that?
Sure, I'll motion to move this along.
Jeff motions?
A second.
Okay. Okay, vote?
Thorne,
Yes.
Hay,
Yes.
Bushway,
Yes.
Henderson,
Yes.
Rasmussen,
Yes.
Rebo, yes, Cruz.
Yes. Okay, motion carries. All right. That brings us to the Xerox machine. Item F. It's failing. I I wish we could print out some more packets for the people here to come and, but we can't. We're really pushing right up against it, lifetime.
In here is a letter also from Xerox that we got December 1st saying that our agreement, our service agreement is expiring, and then the service life of our machine is basically ending. It's 7 years old. It's jamming constantly. What I've been dealing with printing out packets for everybody is you print a few pages and all of a sudden you have to clean out a jam. So it's been super fun. I did get some numbers. I think it's the last page in the packet of the Xerox stuff. We can either lease or we can purchase. Previously, we had purchased with, it came with a maintenance agreement. So he's written everything down. I did call back and ask about hole punching, since we don't have hole punching currently on our, what are you laughing about, Sarah? On our current machine. So he did give me a price. It would be an additional $160 to the purchase price, or it would be an additional $347 a month on the lease if we leased it. So it would be
$3.47 or $303?
I
wanted to verify that.
The lease payment is $114.31 monthly without the whole punching, so that would be another $3.47.
I just want to verify it. I thought maybe it was
$3. That would be if we were leasing it, but if we purchased it, it would be another $160, which still isn't bad. So I would prefer to purchase it. They have delivery, installation, and customer education for $312, and then we do have remote in, we want that, which I don't know if we really need that.
I was going to say, what's the remote analysis? Is that for them to get into it? Or
Yeah,
is that
if there's an issue where they
don't
instead
have
of
to
just
come here?
right. Yeah, so I'm not sure if we really need that or not, but
I just have two comments or thoughts. Number one, Xerox, it's an excellent product. All right, everybody knows that. Secondly, John Mylan's been here for 100 years. Sorry, John, not really, but John Mylan's local. He's been here and been in business. He's had an excellent reputation. I've had some business, experience with John in the past regarding copies and copy machines. And so I would just say we're dealing with local people and a good product. I think it's a good choice for us. Right on.
It looks like it's going to be cheaper to purchase than it is to lease it, because you're looking at $7,000 to lease it versus $6,000 for purchasing it.
I say we purchase.
Yeah.
I always purchase.
If you look at the numbers, it's considered less expensive to purchase.
Who takes care of the issues once the warranty expires? With the purchases, is there a maintenance agreement?
I believe there's a maintenance agreement, because we've had a maintenance agreement. He was here all day one day, he changed some of the rollers to try to fix his jamming, and it worked for a while. That's only been a couple of weeks ago when it's jamming up again, so, but that was at no cost to us. He was here from like 9 o'clock in the morning till 4:30, I think.
So we bought the last one in 2016, and we had a maintenance agreement with it?
Yeah. Because usually don't they just charge you by like a copy or something, and then if there's anything that breaks, they usually come out and fix it. That's part of the maintenance.
They've been great. Every time I've had an issue, he's either gets someone here, he either comes down and looks at it, or he gets someone here the next day, so I haven't had any issues. I don't know, I gotta ask him about that.
don't do that.
I'm
John.
not, I just, oh my goodness, maybe because it's frustrating. I know, maybe I should just keep it here, but I can just be like it. Okay.
I'm
So
looking
anyways,
I'm looking for a motion to purchase a new
I
Xerox.
make a motion that we purchase these Xerox.
Okay.
With hole punch.
Yeah, with hole punch.
With Amy's screen.
Give her a whole bunch. Somebody help that lady.
I need a second. Okay, Rob seconds.
Can we have some discussion? Sorry about that. I understand the urgency involved here. We get a letter from Mr. Mylan saying it's time to buy a new copier. And there's a lot of people that sell copiers. There's Ryobi's, there's Sharps, Konica Minolta's, Xerox, I think is a good product. I've been calling around because I believe in competitive bidding, and I've gotten a lot of responses in the last few days, good pricing. If we can wait just a little bit, maybe we could take a look at it another day. If you're happy dealing with a local person that's giving you good service,
this expires in February, so that's my problem, and then we have to have a special meeting in order to approve purchasing.
well, I gotta believe that Mr. Mylan will work with you. He's not gonna take that copier out of here on
No,
that
I know,
expiry
but
date.
that's the, when the maintenance agreement expires though, so then we're gonna be stuck with a copier that's doing what it's doing right now, and it does.
That's why I said it's an urgent situation, but,
So a quick reminder that we do have a meeting coming up next week on the 18th, so if you wanted to postpone it, you wouldn't have to wait until next month. So you could add it to the agenda for the 8th. You could add it to the agenda for.
well, I've got 4 vendors that it's, I don't deal well with looking at stuff on the phone. I gotta have stuff printed out, I gotta look at it and compare. You know, proposals are tough to look at on a mobile phone. But, you know, ultimately, the board is gonna have to decide, is it all about price or is it all about service? I've contacted some of the local schools and find out who their copy service is provided by. Some of them have good things to say, some of them don't. There's a place over in Clare that could bring us a Konica Minolta, excellent reputation, good pricing, and they get over in this area. There's a place down in Grand Rapids that comes up to this area. They all have great coverage areas. As far as Xerox is concerned, they have territories, and nobody wants to step on the toes of another person's territory.
I will say too, we've had issues with the faxing, and they have allowed us to go up to preferred office machine fax for free. Because we can't do it.
That sounds like
So,
Preferred's taking good care of us. So I just, you know,
just throwing that out there. If there's someone coming from a different, you know, they have to find something. I mean, I probably for.
Everett Public Schools is serviced by that first-rate Office Solutions out of Clare, and they're at every single day. And they come over to someplace in Big Rapids as well, on the Central Michigan Board of Realtors, maybe. You know, when you have trouble with the copier, you want to fix right away, I understand that. Price is not everything, service is important, so don't let me influence your opinion, but I promised that I would try and get some competitive bidding from, you know, for major purchases, and that's what I've done here.
I didn't think the price was bad because of, if you look at what we bought it for in 16, it was $5,500 versus $5,000. It wasn't, it hasn't gone up too much, it seems like you gave us a fair price.
I know some of the proposals that came through are cheaper than the Xerox machine. Xerox is a Cadillac of the line, and the screen of the drop, maybe we don't even want to look anyplace else, but I'm told by other people that, you know, there's other needs out there, there's other products that do a great job.
I don't have to deal with it every day. I know you do, Corey. I mean, that's why it's kind of not really fair for me to comment to, or to say, yeah, push it out. If it would 18th, put on agenda, if you don't bring that bad in by then,
Am I,
you know, I
I
mean, I
it
don't.
wasn't gonna make a difference
I
at
don't
this
know.
point, so we wanna wait a week, that's fine with me.
Well, then let's table it until
Again,
next,
I feel
till
bad,
the
I'm not the
18th.
one that has to
Okay.
do the pressure.
I'm the one that feels bad here. She
Well,
really.
You don't feel bad, Kelly.
You don't feel bad.
So she's saying no comments, just waiting.
Yeah, no,
No budget comments.
try.
We didn't have time to send it out for, bids or quotes, so I kind of took the initiative to do it myself, and I learned a lot about copiers, and got some good pricing.
That's totally fine, I'm fine with that, we just need to get on it quick, but if we can do it this week, that's fine.
Okay. All right, so let's table that agenda item, and then that moves us to budget amendments. I do not have any budget amendments at this point.
We need discretion.
Okay,
That's great.
so no budget amendments at this point in time. We need to approve the monthly checks.
Does anybody want to look at the items?
I'm good with that. I can look at it. I'm good with it.
Okay, you good with it? Yes.
What's that?
Who's the third and the fourth name?
Those were for,
Go to return.
Jason, when you contacted M&M to take care of us on an interim basis, they gave you some pricing. Did that line up? I mean, we're paying $800 for one snowplow and some salt in here for first 12 days of December. Does that all look kosher to you?
Yeah, it does, yeah. It is for the salt. Salt is pretty expensive, and that's all right. That's what we told me.
Well, if he gave you a quote, and he provided the salt and applied it, then I guess you gotta pay it. But I'm just a little surprised to see that it was $800 for less than 2 weeks. Will we be all caught up with the former officials and employees?
We should have the former officials all taken care of. There was a little bit of back and forth with with John Hancock, right? And then so we had to do a little research involving the payment, and how we're paying them, and so we should be all set at this point.
So we still have to pay the John Hancock.
Jeff has a question about who KCI would be.
so that was, we had a week to get these 80 ballot and ballot applications out, so we ended up hiring it out because we didn't have everything set up to be able to do that. So they took our list and they mailed everything, so that we didn't have to, so that was right in the middle of your season.
Communications company on Grand Rapids. They're a wise company, they do all of our tax bills that go out. They're actually the company that processes bills.
I'll set the wait for a motion.
I approve.
Okay,
Sarah doesn't approve, Sarah's not.
I'm not saying I'm not approving nothing.
You look like you're ready to say.
so I have Dan as a first motion to approve the checks.
I second.
Sarah seconds.
I have a question.
Okay.
With a question. Our special meeting meetings?
Yes,
That
we're looking into that. Yep, there's an extra stipend on a special meeting, so we have to catch you up on a couple of special meetings yet.
Okay.
So we're looking into that right now. Get that. So how do we do that?
I didn't know if that was.
Well, there's a per diem rate. When I was on the board 5 years ago, it was $35, and we haven't gone up, I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm not worried about it, but yeah, we need to be paid for that.
Right, right, I just want to make sure that we're paying it properly. So,
Are we further?
yeah, you're fine. Okay, so, roll call, please.
Hay.
Yes.
Rasmussen.
Yes.
Kuschweiz.
Yes.
Henderson.
Yes.
Rebo, yes. Thorne.
Yes.
Cruz.
Yes,
Okay.
we got it. Okay, so give us the second round of public comment. Would anybody like to comment at this time?
Well, Jason, you had a question, you mentioned that you're gonna hire another attorney firm, and you mentioned that this attorney firm is one of the two top attorney firms in the state of Michigan.
That's what I understand.
And, you know, I theoretically just taken over the presidency at Ferris, and now I want to hire Lloyd Carr as my football coach. So my question is, if you're hiring one of the two best attorneys in the state of Michigan, where is that in your budget, and who's paying for that?
Well, there's payment that pretty much matches up with our payment schedule for our current municipality. And it's just that they come highly recommended, I should say that. They come very highly recommended. I don't know, I have nothing to measure, whether they're the best or not, they just come highly recommended.
And so that's what you have, the amount that was budgeted previously, so as you go forward, and you create a new budget, this budget.
Absolutely, we're gonna have to make sure that, that's why we're trying to get these things in place here for the budget.
It always does.
Thank you, Joe. Anybody else on public
This is the
comment?
second time we've done it.
Let's go Scott first, I'll come with you.
Okay, a couple things, you might want to change your answering machine.
Yeah.
Because I called here, and I still get Jim.
Right.
So,
Well, and I have to apologize, I really didn't want to get into a bunch of public, like going back and forth tonight, just so we can get out of here, but, we don't have any administrative rights to any of these things. And so we have to go through Steve, and then we'll have Steve, at least take them off. Thanks for bringing it up.
at least
Scott.
that's up there. I can't remember if it was October or November, in that time frame, Ocean Gate, Green Township, $2,500 to be transferred to the city of Grand Rapids for the smoke detector and the carbon monoxide. So I don't think that's been transferred yet to the city.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Actually, there's a ceremony tomorrow, well, handing that check over to the fire chief.
Beautiful.
So they'll come back and invoice the township for the money that was deposited on the funds.
So how that's gonna work is the city is going to invoice us. So that's all set up. Yeah.
Then cameras that were at the stone hatchery, I'm fairly confident the insurance company gave a discounted rate because of the security cameras that were down there. How much, I don't know. But just a heads up on that, you might want to research the cameras, how it's going to affect your insurance or not.
Absolutely. Yep, that was a concern of mine also. And so, talking with the attorneys on those things, and I brought that up to the attorneys, maybe we're actively trying to get in touch with our
I don't want to get involved with cameras, I'm just giving you the heads up down there or what.
Sure. I appreciate it, because, there's nobody down there, so, I don't know how that all works out. So,
Okay.
yeah.
And then the special meeting you had, there was talking about the ballot box relocation outdoors. Is there any update on that?
Just what we mentioned earlier, we've ordered the ballot box.
Okay.
And then it's gonna be on a stand, so we can put it outside.
Outside, better approved.
Yeah, and anybody that's handicapped, so it's handicap accessible, they, made. And there'll be a camera on that box. So, that's all you have.
Could be on the roadside, Jason, you think, so that we can see, traffic go by, and see too?
Yeah, absolutely. We looked at, how about putting it out on the side here so you can drive up, and it's like, it's kind of off on the side, there may not be a lot of light on there, so that was a concern. We want to make sure those ballots are safe anybody wants to drop off. We want to make sure it's secure.
Can I make a public comment?
Absolutely.
Something that's been bugging me for a long time is the metal halide lights out in the parking lot, those bright orange lights. They're very, very expensive to operate, 275 to 300 watts per fixture. And as you probably know, LED lights are a whole lot more cost effective. The lights on the outside of the building run 24/7. I don't know if they're on timers or if they are photocell, but I'm all about spending some money to save some money. So sometime in our budget workshop, we might want to discuss that. It might surprise us how little it costs to change the lights out there. If we go around and count the fixtures and count the lights, I can figure out what it costs us a month. And they're burning during the day as well.
They shouldn't be burning during the day.
They burn during the day.
We have bad photos.
We must have something going on. Yeah.
Jesse, can I make a comment?
Absolutely.
When I worked in industry, we worked with Consumers Power, and they actually came in our plant and they replaced the lights. So there might be a program that is available that would be there to offset.
There is, I went through my building in the last 5 years, with all the lights within, and then they did the parking lot from the old.
Did consumers help you?
Yeah, they come in, they have a program, and then they show exactly how much, and then Consumer Spaces contract is a certain amount to do that, and then they show you how much, it was like 16 months of where I would get my costs back, and they show you what the total cost was, and then with the GE program, incentive program, I was like, no brainer.
Well, those lights, you're bringing that up, over at our place, we have 4 LED lights, they're burning hard. I'm going to dial them back, but those 4 LEDs take less power than that one orange that was out there before.
I think the bright white light is more inviting as well. I think it probably deters crime better. These lights out here are just dingy and
yellowish,
yeah. They degrade over time. Those bulbs have to be replaced, but a fluorescent bulb doesn't burn brightly forever, nor do the metal halide. So
they're not that much money either, Carl. They're not that much.
no, LEDs should be. You're looking at hiring a contractor to replace the fixture, though, and possibly a pole. They don't want to use the poles that are out there. So I hate to spend money, but sometimes you spend money to save money, and you're better off in the long run. So for instance, to have a contractor come in and figure out what's going on, the lights burn 24/7 on the outside of the building, that might not be cost effective. That might be more expensive in the short term to have a contractor make a service call and say, well, you gotta do this and that, and so maybe have them all looked at the same time.
Sure, I can look into that. Yes.
I just want to comment on another thing with government overreach that I find very disturbing is why is the community town hall representing internet service? I get it was COVID dollars, the towers are up and it's going on and it's a little late for this conversation, but it's a little disturbing to me because it's taken a lot of time out of actually functioning as I've seen videos from 4 or 5 years ago of people arguing and debating this over a chunk of tax dollar money when we go out and find our own cell service. I have my own internet service. I don't rely on the town hall. And I just feel like it's just caught through a great big wrench in everything with taxpayer dollars that could have been used towards the community for something and let internet services provide to the community on their own accord. That's just an observation of another thing with government overreach that's very disturbing for me because we've wasted a lot of time talking about this internet stuff. And to me, the last guy was corrupted, plain and simple. Okay? The other thing, I feel that we deserve an apology from Chuck for all the lies, coming here with blatant lies, and nothing he's brought here is beneficial to anyone in this community. It's a threat to our environment, and we as a community deserve a public apology for every lie that he's misled us with, from the stone hatchery all along the lines in the Pioneer articles.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Great.
Can I take it back to the lights for a second? Maybe observative suggestion, telling us some time to kind of research the lights, contacting consumers and maybe a contractor, and bring it to that meeting next week. You can look at your budget and make that decision quick so it can get done and get lined up in the next week, because it's probably going to be a lead time service that we do.
Yeah, it would be simple enough for me to contact consumer and see if they have any
I
program.
can pull up and get mine, just last year, you know, collection.
But as far as, contacting, I'm busy all day long, every day. And I'd be happy to help where I can, but you put that stuff out for proposal, and it's done. Yeah. But as far as making a call for the consumer, I'd be happy to do that. That's a good idea. I'll talk to you about it.
Yeah. Any other thoughts?
All I want to say is, Mr. Thalen always got the attention of the Pioneer through the rhetoric, through his misguiding everybody just to get propaganda started, just so everybody got all upset, started going after one another. But I find it really sad that we who live here, the Pioneer won't touch us. But Thalen can go and he can cry because he didn't get a bonus. My question for him to think about is, does he consider all those children that are doing the laboring? How about give your money to them, being you think this is such a great deal? I'm just saying. It's ridiculous. And about ISI, I agree with my sister full-heartedly. I don't think that's something that the board should have to worry about. I think that the constituents are adults, and that if they want, cable, they can look it up for themselves. Why put that on you guys when right now you guys can't even get into half of your stuff because of a situation? And nobody, there is one person in here that knows, but he wants to throw stones about you not putting anything out there about the budget. And I'm sorry, Jason, I just had to say it.
I just put in regards to your action change.
Yeah.
I've known John, the third officer change there for over 40 years. Regardless of whether you lease it or buy it, when you have a problem, he's less than 10 minutes away, and you're more apt to get that thing taken care of when it's needed to be taken care of, rather than calling somebody an hour, hour and a half away. Just my own 2 cents worth.
I like to keep it open.
Any other public? Okay, if there's no other public comment, I'd like to motion for adjournment. Motion to adjourn. So you don't want to stay here for a moment? Until I smile.